Sorry, part 3. The other one just ended on me.
So God's in control, blah, blah, blah. Again, there's just a whole denial of the fact that there are practical mechanisms.
Okay,
So
okay.
even said it so far as to almost imply that you couldn't have prevented World War II. And of course you could.
Maybe you couldn't. Maybe that's just more judgment on humanity. Maybe suffering has to happen. Is it funny? No, of course it's not. But, yeah. As you said before, all these tentacles of society, they go every way. So if there's people who are ultimately greedy, robbing the people blind, then there's a lot of suffering. It's just what it is. Guess how much they will be judged if they don't find Jesus.
There can be better and worse outcomes. And there was no obligation to have World War I or to have World War II. There was no obligation to have the war in Iraq. All these things.
I agree from a human standpoint. Fuck the war, indeed. Fuck all wars. Fuck all fighting and infighting and backstabbing and all that bullshit. But maybe we just only learn that way or whatever. Maybe still not even history repeats itself, right? We're getting there. We're getting back into the worst Stasi program you've ever seen at this rate. Or maybe we'll turn it around by planting seeds in people's minds so that they would wake up out of this freaking play, this fake play we're doing these days.
Were events that you could turn around exactly the opposite way. I mean, I've said so many times, the moment on George Bush, when he showed up on that pile of corpses on 9/11, he could have turned that into an international moment of, hey, you know what I'm saying? You just don't fight this way, okay?
I agree, but let's not get into 9/11 here, right?
Hey, you girly boys. This terrorism shit, I mean, it's for losers, okay? You just made a...
Oh yeah, I guess, I believe this terrorism shit benefits certain people, like people you may have just mentioned.
bunch of victims. Okay, fine. You hurt some people who never did anything to hurt you. Okay, nothing malicious by overt thought. And you just...
The wheels of justice are ever turning, grinding down the innocent.
Decide to make them victims so you could hurt somebody else. Because why? Because you can't make an argument? Because you can't persuade people?
I try, and you do too. Awesome. Let's keep doing this.
Because your God doesn't have the power to control their thoughts? Do you really think your God wants you to do what you did? Well, anyway, I'm just saying he could turn it into... He could have turned it into us being victims, and instead he turned us into bullies. And that was just... So I'm just saying the world could turn on those kind of events. Those events are incredibly important.
Indeed, if humanity recognizes it, which you do and so do I, maybe we can wake them up, so to speak.
And I think it's just bullshit to say nothing changes, nothing gets better. That's all crap. People have improved, generally speaking, and the knowledge does make us better, and culture can make us more sophisticated.
Knowledge doesn't necessarily make us better.
And have higher conversations. I mean, what, you don't think Sam Harris, even if you don't like Sam Harris, you don't think he's elevated human conversation? I mean, this is just such bullshit. Okay.
I think the Bible elevated human conversation.
Anyway, so he says he wishes for a better world, but I'm just saying, look, it's not about wishing. at minimum, we know we're here. Okay, like I said, your God theory is just, it's not very heavily evidence based. I would argue that, being reasonable, you got to say, well, we know this exists. We know the lifeboat game's going to be played. I mean, whether it's part of some bigger game, okay, maybe, maybe not.
It is. And it's good that it is, because then there's at least a little hope. Something I've long lost, or just slightly regained lately for humanity. But in its basis, it's long crumbled. There's no cornerstone to stand on here, a part of Jesus and His mercy and His love, even though there's suffering. Counting our blessings in this hell hole.
And I'm not saying there's anything we would do here on the lifeboat would jeopardize going to heaven. I mean, us being political and us trying to find civilization rules and creating deterrence and creating incentives for people to be sophisticated and giving and generous and all that stuff, rewarding that kind of thing in this world, will not deny you.
How sad it is if you do good just to be rewarded by man or acknowledged by man. That's so sad. Then again, it's like a vegan that does it for the wrong reasons, don't you see?
The gift of your better world. It really won't. Forcing people, okay, with incentives and disincentives is not going to deny you access to heaven. I mean, most of them.
Maybe not, but again, as I just said, people should not murder for the right reason and not because the state says, ooh, you shouldn't murder. Then something must have went very wrong if you didn't get to know that truth through your parents and through life itself. If you have to be treated like a slave, like an idiot, then there's something very, very wrong. You kill a guy, I'll slap you on the wrist. You shouldn't even have killed him in the first place.
I mean, unless you want to get insane and say torturing people or something. That's not what I'm defending. But
neither am I.
But the idea that we can create deterrence that works here. And again, it's just the same theory that your own God is working under. He's working on the same theory of reward and punishment. What else is he talking about? The whole fucking religions. All these religions are based entirely on the idea of promise of reward and punishment.
I disagree. For me, God is all built on faith. Faith is all there is. If you're in a bad situation, be faithful. If you're in a good situation, share for the right reason and be faithful and thank God. And even if you're in a bad situation, thank God. That's what I'm saying. Because He's in control. And you'll possibly have lots of reward if you endured till the end through a lot of suffering, faithfully endured.
What else is there? He's not just, God isn't saying, well, look, it's not going to change how you get treated in heaven. Okay, there's no difference. Everybody's going to get treated the same. I just want you to do the right thing. He's not making that argument to people. He's not making a philosophical argument and say, look, just do the right thing. All right? Yeah, I'm not going to give you anything extra. I'm not going to give you anything worse. I'm just telling you, do the right thing.
Do the right thing for the right reason, not for rewards. Many Christians, quote unquote, always... Oh, let's skip to the next video, sorry.